All right, what is going on, social media family? Corey Brimmer, Sugar Ram Bar, and today I have a banger for you today. Today I have someone really, really special that I've been trying. I've been trying. Well, you say trying because it's really been on my part, really not on hers. But I have Tavon Glenn. Tavon, what is going on, sister?
Hey, how are you? How are you? It is Tyvon Glenn.
You
I
know I did. You know I did that on purpose, right?
I felt like you did.
Oh, we were joking before we went live. I was asking her, like, how do people be messing up her name? They just be saying everything, right? Tavon. Tavon, thank you for joining me, man. First, I guess we can start off. Um, um, do you like where do you want to start? Do you because you were so I created these smaller groups on Facebook, and
Yeah.
I was doing these challenges on Facebook where I was challenging people to make $100 a day for 90
hmm
days. And I had done six. How many groups were you in? Do you remember in
I've
the
been in
beginning when I was doing them?
two groups, and I was
Two of them.
actually in I think it was $10,000 in 90 days.
Right. And so I come online, I make all these posts and links, and then I thought to myself, I should organize a group of serious-minded people who really want to do this. And I also wanted to prove to myself, could I take someone just raw off the street and show them how to make some money? Now, before we jump into this, um, I am not a financial planner, right? I am not guaranteeing you that you're going to make money. Tyvon is not guaranteeing you that whatever she did or whatever, she's not saying that you're going to run out and make $1 million doing what she did, right? Like,
That's
because
right.
because like we want to be truthful and honest to people, right? Like there was a point in my life when I had lost everything, and I just got my life back together, and every day I'm getting a message of someone telling me about how a video or something I may have posted helped change them. But enough about me. Let's talk about you. So, what made you want to join one of the groups that I created? Do you even remember what might have encouraged you to motivated you to join the groups?
Definitely. Like I was saying earlier, I've never ever met Corey in person. And I was telling him that I'm not on social media as far as Instagram, um, any of those other platforms. I'm only
Man,
on
you were
Facebook.
telling me you had like six friends. Like,
Listen, if you go, it's literally, I probably have 500 friends. And out of those 500, I personally know probably 480. So
right.
how I came across Corey, I'm still not, I just say it was God, literally, because
Amen.
I don't follow pretty much anybody. I'm not sure how it happened, but I think you may have been doing a live, and it was just so motivating that I clicked on follow. And so I started following you, and every other day, you would post something and I would be following, and it made sense to me. So a lot of what you were doing and saying, it made sense to me. So um I definitely, when you put out the $10,000 in 90 days, I think it was back during COVID.
Man,
And
yeah.
yeah, everything had shut down. A lot of companies were laying off. It's just people, things were at a standstill. And you were talking about so many different opportunities, saying money. I just really remember you saying money is all around
It's
us.
all around you. We live in an
Yeah.
abundant world and it's all around you.
And it really is. Like, I took everything that you were saying and I challenged myself to put that into play. So
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't unemployed. I still had a job.
Yeah, that's a great point. So like we were talking, and I didn't mean to cut you off, but like a lot of people that may be watching this video, and I told you this, I get a lot of messages from people who it's like they reach me when they've hit rock bottom. You know what I mean? Like when they
Right.
get to the point where they've lost everything. What I'm trying to get better at myself is don't quit your job. You know what I mean? Don't lose your job. Get your
Right.
things together now because like that, you had a job, right?
Right. Definitely.
Yeah.
Had a job, still have a job, but I know that you were saying things that I could implement in my everyday life, even with work. And you were talking about being disciplined with your finances, different ways of getting your credit up. Like, you were giving all of this information that was, and I would save it. Like, I would save these notes and kind of go back. But
I'll be telling people screenshot this stuff, man.
yeah. And I call myself, and I my background, I went to college, so I do have a background in financial management, but I'm not an expert at anything.
None of us are. And another thing that we, I know that you and I have talked about is there were no classes teaching us about real estate. And we'll get into that with you, stocks, these apps, hustles, ways. We were just out here just hustling.
Right. And what I loved about, watching you was you talked about making six figure income, but you also got out there and hit the ground running with somebody who didn't have a job. So one day I saw you out selling bottled water. Like, you showed us how you could sell bottled water. You took the entire day selling cases, took a case of $4 bottled water. It's 24 in that case. And you broke it down to eliminate that excuse from anybody saying, I can't do it.
Yeah. So again, like I always think back when I make these videos or I make this content, one thing that I always say to myself is, what would knowing what I know now, and I don't know a lot, but knowing what I know now, what would I tell myself if I went back in time on day one? I'm talking about day one, when I lost my home, when my marriage was over, when my car got repossessed, when I got evicted from my apartment, when I lost my job, when I didn't have a car, couldn't get a job, and I was just down and out. And so I always think about I'll never forget not having anything. And I'm not saying that, I'm not trying to put maybe what I was going through on a scale to someone else. I just know that there are so many people out there, they're hurting, and they're stuck in the rat race. They're stuck in a 9-to-5 job. And what you and I had talked about before is, I believe that there are people out there who, there's so many things going on in your life, you can't think about trying to do a side hustle or trying to bring in some extra income, because you have all this pressure of your current situation.
Right.
So I think to myself, if I'm in that space, what would I tell myself to maybe change my energy to go in another direction, or open my mind up to another avenue or something else where I can bring in some money? Because look, I'm not trying to sugarcoat this or play around with it. You got to make this money, man. You're in this world, you're dealing with everything that you're dealing with. Everywhere you go, you need it, to pay for everything. So you got to have it. You can't get around it. So why not create other things of abundance, other automated things, or other apps, or other hacks, or other life hacks, or other avenues where you don't have to quit your job. You don't have to join some MLM, and that's not a knock on anybody that does anything. I'm just saying, just do things that you're already currently doing that can generate, I call it a ecosystem of money, and you can get some of your money or coming back to you. So what were you going through? And you don't have to get too deep and too personal, but where were you in life when things started to go a little haywire or whatever?
I was at just really a standstill of just not knowing what the next step is, like not knowing what I want to do other than just working my regular job.
More work.
Yeah, just working. I was just standing still, just sitting still, basically. And so you said a lot of things in what you said. What was it that I had at my fingertips that I wasn't utilizing to be able to bring me income?
Right.
What was it that I could do already? And so that's what I began to look into, not, what's out here that I can do, but what I have available to me right now. So making it personal. First, before you take any step, making it personal in where you are.
Yeah, the first step, I believe the first step is it's not just me giving you this stuff. It's not the credit, it's not the apps, it's not the jobs, it's not going out and buying a truck, it's not the ATMs, it's not the vending machines, it's not Turo, it's not Airbnb, it's not any of that stuff. The first thing you have to do is you have to change the way that you think.
Right.
And then the steps, I don't know if you remember in the group, do you remember like the first couple of apps that I given people, like the gas app, the one to scan receipts? There was another one that you have to link your credit cards to. The reason I put those apps first is, if you can't even do this, then we can't even talk about vending machines or selling cars at an auction or getting into the trucking business when you can't even scan a simple receipt.
Right. Because most people want to crawl before they walk. I mean, they want to walk. I'm sorry, they want to
Hey
walk.
man, most people want to fly. They want to be a VIP.
Right.
They don't want to start. Nowadays, they don't want to start in the mailroom and work their way up. They want to be right at the top.
They want to be right at the top. So when you start talking about $20 here and $30 there and $40, they don't want to hear that. They want to hear
Right.
about how to make thousands. And that's
Right.
what we missed out at.
And even now, while we're making this video, and I don't know who's going to end up watching this video, and I don't know exactly how long it's going to be, but I don't want anyone to watch this video thinking that this is get rich quick, or I'm going to drop these, you know, you're going to take whatever I say and go out and make $10,000. No, it's about creating your mindset. And my mindset is, you know, I started shifting into a wealth mindset, because wealthy people don't, man, they don't care if they earn a penny or $1 million. At the end of the day, that money is coming back into them. And so, yeah. So do you remember one of the, did you do any of the things, or was it more was it more motivating you to do something else? Like what was one of the first things that kind of got you on the?
It was both. So I did a number of different things. So I did the gas app, which is the Get Upside app.
Right.
So I made sure I tapped into what we need. Like, I'm already going to the gas station. And
exactly.
once I downloaded that app and I was able to kind of do, apply that app, getting gas, and saw the income that was coming in, it's automatic. I'm like, I'm getting gas every day. So every day. So that was easy income. The fetch is taking the receipt from my gas, taking the receipt from wherever I'm going out to eat, Chick-fil-A, scanning those receipts and making money.
You're already going to Chick-fil-A anyway.
Right. So I began to use those two things were priority on my list. You talked about so many different ways. One was, just going out doing, I think you were doing DoorDash.
Yeah.
Making so much money in DoorDash in a day. It was just, like I say, I got in and pulled what I could, and made it work for me. Another thing I did, you mentioned, because a lot of people say, well, I don't have a business, I can't do this and I can't do that.
Right.
Facebook Marketplace. You talked about selling things that you had in your house that you may give away. You
already got it. It's already there.
Listen, when I tell you what did they say? Your trash, somebody's trash,
another man's treasure.
Yes. I had so many things around my house I snapped pictures of, put on Facebook Marketplace, and I think I made like $200-300 in a day. What you think somebody else don't want, they do. So it was easy money, and it was just what you were saying, pricked opportunity for me to say, hey, I can do this, hey, I can do that. And it's money sitting around.
And that's the thing, it's sparking that, it's igniting that motivation in you. So it's not necessarily the gas app or the fetch or what, it's starting that thing, and then you start really realizing that it's all around you. And then the second thing that really like lit a fire underneath me was, now that my brain started looking in that, then I started realizing I could have been doing this the whole time. Like, so how much money am I losing?
I tell you, when it was just beginning to be so easy, the money was racking up. The receipts were racking up from the money from the receipts. The gas was racking up. People were calling. I felt like my little side business was a whole nother job.
Right.
And I wasn't even having to leave the home. I wasn't clocking in. It was just me running my own business with what you gave. So
let me ask you this really quick. With like the gas, did you cash out on the gas? Did you look at you smiling?
I did. And I mean, I wouldn't recommend that, but because I was new to it, right? So we always like everything is a scam. So
yeah, no, you better tell the truth. Tell the truth and shame the devil. Tell the truth.
Everybody feel like it's a scam. So it's
you see that $10 in there, you be like, let me get my little $10 before they shut this thing down, right?
$10. They ain't gonna get my $10. So I was getting, yeah.
No. So you were getting what? What were you cashing out sometimes?
Yeah, so I was cashing out, either getting the cash or using it towards whatever. So I wouldn't allow mine to sit long. But once I figured out it worked, then I started, of course, putting it on my Facebook page, sending my referral code out for my friends to say,
Cost
hey,
you nothing,
yeah, and if
literally
you're
free.
trustworthy and your friends know you, they're gonna use it.
And
They're
if they
gonna
see you
use
making, my thing is, if they see you making money at it, they're gonna think to themselves, well, if he like that app, I made almost probably at $10,000 with that app. Now I know I got trucks and all that kind of stuff, but
Right.
I made 10. That was 10. I used that 10,000. I cashed out $8,800 of that money. I took that money and bought 11. I have 16, but I bought 11 vending machines with that money. So on one end, I was making the money completely for, well, I used it as like a savings account. I was gonna just let it go and let it go. And then this opportunity presented itself with these vending machines. So now I took the $8,800 from that one free app, cashed it out, used that money to buy the vending machines. Now what should happen is I have 16 vending machines that I didn't pay anything for. Each one of those machines on average make about $1,000. So that's 16,000. That's a month. That's
Right.
$16,000 a month that's being generated from an app that I use completely for free, that I share for free. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like, it's all connected.
And let me tell you what else you did. You didn't just say it. You went live showing yourself doing it. So a lot of people just talk, but you actually went live to say, here's how it works. And let me not only just say it, but let me show it. So I saw you going live and I was like, hey, it definitely works. So that's literally what I love about everything that you were doing. And I was, like I say, I joined that second class literally because the first class I think you did, I think that first class was free.
I did. So before I charged people, I did 6 classes for free. And in each group, I learned more and more and more. Like, even I know we're talking about the gas app.
Mhm.
So when the first original class that you were in, I knew about the app, I knew about how to leverage it with my credit cards, I knew about the receipts. By the time I got to the 5th or 6th class, I learned 7 different ways to get paid off of just that one transaction.
Yeah, and you showed us how
Yeah,
to do it too.
but I didn't know that in the beginning,
Right.
And again, that's a part that I want people to understand. We got to stop gatekeeping this information. If I find out a way to make money, I should be willing to share that with you.
Right.
Like,
Definitely.
so. And then going back to your point of what you were making, I was watching people make courses and do webinars, and I don't knock nobody's hustle. I am not a hater. Get your money however you want to get it. But I would join these groups or go to these webinars, go to these seminars. I would sit in these rooms for an hour, be on the thing for an hour, and they wouldn't tell me anything. Right?
Right.
They never showed me the money, right?
Right.
They tell me I'm gonna make money, but they never show me how much money they're making. I never see their credit score. And at the end of it, they always tried to sell me something.
Right.
Like if I wanted to join the master class, or if you want to do a one-on-one, I was just like, I thought I was here to learn how to make money. And
Right.
so I just thought to myself, why can't I just help some people? And I'm not promising you that you're gonna be a millionaire, but here's something I'm doing that I made money at. And it
Right.
wasn't just one thing. I made money in 10 or 15 different things,
Yeah.
you know? And if I could just share them with you, if you apply the principles and the things that I'm doing, you should be able to do it too. So the things that I did, how did you do with some of the stuff?
As far as income,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I did great.
Yeah. Now again, I want you don't need to, so, I don't know who may be watching this, but you don't need to tell nobody whatever. But you
Right.
did okay, right?
Yeah, I did great. Literally, it was because I was implementing everything. I was
Right.
implementing the apps. I was a notary already, but
Right.
underutilizing my notary stamp. I was only waiting on people who knew me to reach out to me. And
Yeah.
so I began to make myself known that, hey, I'm a notary. I think you
Yeah.
mentioned that.
I think I put together a whole not only I did like 2 videos on that, but I think I put together like a whole strategy on how to like take, because there's so many people that are public notaries and they don't tell nobody, they don't advertise, they don't. And
No.
notary wasn't my main hustle, but when you be a mobile notary now, man, I remember I hired a notary when I was out of town and I needed a permit done. That woman charged me $75.
Right. After hour fee.
I flew into town. There was no one that I could find. I had to get that thing notarized. I had to pay the $75.
Yep.
So you do that in addition to your job, You do that 3-4 times a week, it's a couple $100 a week.
Right. Not only
I can
that,
get,
but I let my employer know that I was a notary. So
mm-hmm.
they, sometimes they look to have that on site, and they can separate, hey, that we have a notary here, they're separate from the business. But what they say, a closed mouth won't get fed.
Won't get fed. There was a Staples. I can't remember if it was Staples Office Depot because I get those two confused. It was around the corner from my house. I remember I used to go in there, and they didn't have a notary on site. And I told them, the people at the counter, I was like, listen, I live right there.
Right.
If you call me, I will come over here and I'll do signatures for $10. Because they didn't have a notary at all. So they were sending people to the bank or down the street or whatever. And I was like, I live across the street.
Right.
Here's my card, here's my number. You call me, I'll come over here and do a notary for you. Just an opportunity.
Yes. Yeah.
And then
Another thing you did was the cash back rewards on the credit card. The bills that we're already paying, your mortgage, your light bill. I mean, you do have to be disciplined at paying bills. Let me just say that you have to be disciplined about your finances. But if you have a credit card that's paying you cash back on your purchases, and you take something that you're doing every month and you pay it with that credit card, the bank is paying you for using their card. So it was that was one of the other ways that I implemented that you gave.
And it's so crazy to sit here and think everyone knows that, but it's so wild to me when I talk to people and I explain that to them. They see it all in front of their face, all in the commercials and stuff, but they're not implementing it and they're not doing it. And then once you get someone to do it, my dad is a prime example. My dad, he didn't have any credit. He didn't want credit. You know what I mean? Old school Black man. Credit is a scam. I don't need it. It took me years of just wearing him down.
Right.
And then once I got him on board, and I was like, Dad, just you're going to the grocery store, you're paying your cell phone bill, you're paying your light bill. He doesn't have a crazy extravagant life. I was just do me a favor, do everything that you're doing, put it on a card, pay it off immediately. Man, if I get my dad on here now, man, I didn't show my dad. My dad had made thousands of dollars a year.
Right.
Thousands.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's not starting your own business. That's what, because everybody want to jump to, I want to start my own business. It's things that you can do right now, right where you are, and make money, immediate money, because starting your own business is an investment initially. It's things that you can do right now with where you are and make money. So
I don't know if you remember this. There were apps that I had that I know of now that I didn't know then. Even my debit card, my just actual debit card, because some people don't have good credit. Some people, like we were saying, some people think credit is a scam. There are ways that you can attach things to your debit card and you can get cash back, savings, rewards just from using your debit card. Because the world that we live in now, everything's digital. It's all online. They all, and then I used to get people saying stuff like, I don't want them tracking me. I'm like, they're tracking you anyway.
Right.
You got a cell phone. You know what I'm saying? They already got your information.
That's right.
You can't escape them. All right. So are you comfortable? You don't have to go into ins and outs, but are you comfortable talking about like the real estate stuff?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Because you made a post the other day, and I don't know if you can remember how it was broken down, but you said like your first property paid for something. Do you remember how you broke it down? Second property paid for that. Third property paid for that. Do you remember?
Yes. So I purchased my first property at 17 years old. And I say purchase, I had an apartment, and the rent for the apartment was going to be, now this was a long time ago. So when I say these numbers,
you about to tell people how you age.
Right. I think the rent for the apartment was $450 a month. And that was almost 28, 30 years ago. So it was $450 a month.
4 years ago. Got it. You were 17 4 years ago. Cool.
Yeah,
we good. We good.
When I went to look for a house, that mortgage payment was $350.
Cheaper than your apartment.
cheaper than what they were going to charge for that apartment.
That's crazy.
Definitely. And
And then
so
what did it take? Yeah, I know it's 20 years ago, but was there mentally, was there this what I'm getting to is this. Did you have to, was it a big decision? Did you have to think about it? Or did you just say it made sense?
oh, that definitely made sense.
It just
Anytime, yeah.
saying. People see things like this stuff, like they're saying, the stuff, the apps and stuff we're talking about, whatever, but they don't move. You know how many people get approved for a house and they still live in their apartment for 2 months before they move? Like, we gotta move. You gotta move.
You have to act. You have to act. You just can't sit and listen and watch videos. You have to act. Nobody's gonna come to your door and say, "Hey, let me pack your boxes and move that." You definitely have to act. You have to move, and don't be afraid. I think I may have had $1,200 in the bank.
To your name.
Right.
To
So
your name.
I didn't have a 401k. I was 17.
And you were still gonna have to pay your rent at the apartment next month anyway.
I was gonna be paying more. And
it was gonna go up because it was gonna go up, right? After the year.
It was gonna go up every year as apartments do, however much I've never been in an apartment since. Never. Never been in an apartment since. So it was going up. I wasn't gonna own it. So it just made sense.
So you got your first place. What were the scenario? Where was your mind at to get another place? Like, how do you even go from 17 to get to another place?
So I tell you.
Leave out the dirty stuff now. I don't want to hear all that.
Okay. No, it was just the fact that I think that neighborhood, it was going down. Like the neighborhood was going down. So I wanted to move because I stayed in the house. I wanted to move to what I thought was a better neighborhood.
A better neighborhood.
But according to people, the neighborhood I was in was horrible. The one I was getting ready to move to was horrible. So I tell you, don't listen to people. I paid my first house. I paid $40,000 for it. It was $40,000.
Wow.
Right now, that house is worth $450,000.
You know what? I'm about to end this live right now. I'm about to end this. I'm about to end this recording.
Called in what people call a rough neighborhood, but what that rough
it's gentrified now, ain't it?
Yes, definitely. So
yeah, I mean, don't come for me, y'all, but white folks out there walking dogs at night now.
Listen, I tell you, when I look around, I'm like, woo, I'm glad I kept my little ghetto spot that they call, you know, a rough neighborhood. So don't listen to people, because my grandma told me a long time ago, it's not where you stay, it's how you stay.
Amen.
So
amen.
I was good with that.
So how did you acquire the second property? What did you do to acquire another property?
So of course I was working, so I was employed, but the equity in that home, because once you purchase property, the value of that property will continue to increase. And so that amount from what you purchased to the amount to where it increased, that's the equity in the home.
Come on, preach.
Yeah, so that's your overage. So they look at that as your income. That's value that you have. So I didn't need anything. That home was enough for them to say, okay, we'll approve you for the next
for another home.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you got the other home, which home? So which one are you renting out, and which one do you live in? When you get now, you got two places. Which one you live in, and which one you rent out?
Right. So I rented out the one that I was moving from, and I moved into my second place.
Right. And then the rental income covered the mortgage of the first place, and it helped you a little bit out on your end. I mean, it was a little bit over, right?
On my second place. So I was literally not paying anything. So somebody was renting and paying off my first house, and they were paying towards the house that I'm staying in. So I'm working. So all of my income is money. It's extra money for me. So
to invest somewhere else, to grow another business, to take a trip.
Definitely. And what I did was I paid, again, it was only $40,000. So I'm paying it off
as fast as you can.
So it's no mortgage on that now, so it eliminates that. Now all this extra income I can take and do something else with.
Okay. Now, At any time, you can tell me to stop. So now you got 2 properties. People may not know this. And then you get a 3rd property.
Yeah,
What made you get a 3rd? You already got 2. You living, life is going great. What in your mind says, let me get another one?
it's working. It worked. It was working. And so, and
That's
I
that's the
say
answer. That's the answer that I need. I need people to understand that. Like, if it's going good, just keep going, right?
it was working.
You
And you
found the
talk about
formula.
somebody who my parents, I stayed in an apartment all of my life from when I was born to 17. My parents, I bought a home before my mom did.
Yeah, yeah,
So I didn't have knowledge of this. I didn't have anybody to say this is how you do it. I just
right.
said, oh my God, like, yeah, this is it's happening, it's working.
And then
And
think, if I'm sure you may have thought of this, but what if your mom had did what you had done at 17 and then was able to leave or not
mhm,
leave. What if your mom was able to pass down a legacy of a property, real estate to you? How far could that have propelled you in life? And then we start looking at, and then what if you do that? We'll get to that, but you do
yeah,
that for your children, and they do that for their children, and that financial literacy part that we're talking about, I think that is a huge part that
yeah.
we are missing out on.
Yes, we are. We're definitely missing out. And it it bothers me to hear people say, I got it out the mud. My kids gonna get it out the mud. My
Right.
kids ain't getting nothing out no mud if I'm working. They may get it from the next level, but they're not gonna have to get it out no mud.
They shouldn't have to.
No.
They shouldn't have
So,
to.
it's certain things we teach our children. We teach them the foundation, but to try to make them start from the ground, that's just not right. It is
Yeah.
just not right. And that bothers me. So wherever you are, start from where you are. Like, don't be afraid to start from where you are. And that's just what I have to say. It's never too late. As long as you're breathing, it's not too late.
Amen. Amen. And so we know you got another property. Like, I know that. I know you got 4. We're not talking about that. So if you think back in your mind to where you are now, right? And if you go back to where you had started or whatever, wherever you were, what would be some advice that the person that's I'm talking to now, right? What would you tell yourself, the person then, it was just your back was against the wall. You don't what I told you before is I believe that there is a woman, it could be a guy too, but I believe there's a woman who has a shared life experience like you. She's gone through some things in life like you have, but there was a moment in time when you decided to dig in and fight. And that woman who's watching this right now, and we don't know who she is,
All right.
she wants to give up. What would you tell, like I said, the person that you've become, if you're looking back at those women now that are there in that space, what kind of encouragement or motivation could you give them?
I would just say, you said she wants to give up. I would just
Yeah,
say never give up. And you always say it, you say never give up, but I say don't quit.
right.
And there was a time where I felt, like I say, I was 17. I was a teenage mom. And it was a time where I felt like, oh my God, I can't do this, I can't do that. I'm gonna have to just go. But my mom came to me and she said, don't quit.
Hmm.
And it was a little poem that I would never forget. And you can find it somewhere online, but it was something like, when things get tough, as they sometimes will, when the road you're traveling seems all downhill, when the debts are low, when the debts are high and the money is low, whatever, it's just don't you quit. So
Hmm.
I would just say, don't quit. When you quit, you stop. When you quit, everything stops. If you quit, everything stops. The only way things keep going is if you keep going. So I
Hmm.
would say, don't quit. Keep going. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of people don't realize how strong they really are. Because
right.
I often say, like, no matter what you've been through, the hardest times, the divorce, the repossessions, the abortions, the bankruptcies, the broken failed businesses, all that stuff, whatever, right?
Hmm.
You're still here.
You still
Like,
here.
you survived it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No matter how bad it is, and I don't want to focus on negativity because I believe that you're supposed to live an abundant life. You're not supposed to be struggling.
Right.
Like the birds, the animals, the lion ain't worried about, oh Lord, how I'm gonna get a gazelle today. He
Yeah.
ain't worried about it.
Not
He
at
gonna
all.
get up, go get the it's a natural order of things. So so that's kind of why I make these videos. That's why I love when people like you come on here. So, and I know people always hear me talking, but I need other people to see that there are other people out there like me who didn't give up. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? We're just regular people, you know.
Yeah.
You even said just you ain't got no. I may have 100,000 followers, but you ain't got 100,000 followers,
I
right?
don't have zero followers. Zero followers. I'm not even on it. I think somebody put me on Instagram. I might have one follower. I don't know how to get to Instagram. I couldn't click on it, so
There's regular everyday people out here doing it every day. And I know you say get it out the mud, but there was a time when you just decided that I mean, I may not be saying the exact words for you, but you just wanted more out of life. You just knew that like God did not design you to be where you was at.
definitely. And I really and truly believe, I don't care. Sometimes we can be on social media and we see people doing things and we feel like we can't do it. I know that I can do anything anybody else is doing, as long as the law don't have me where I can't travel. You can go. Like nothing is stopping you from getting on a
Yeah.
plane to going to wherever you go. So don't let that hold you down or keep you down on seeing other people moving. We call moving and shaking and feel like you can't do it. You
Yeah,
can.
it's that's
You can do
they call it FOMO, right? The fear of missing out. And
it.
we start comparing our lives to other people, and you think that because I sit here and told you to have 16 vending machines, you think like I want to do vending machines. Maybe you just need to do ATMs, but find what it is for you that's your thing. Everybody's got a thing.
Everybody.
Everybody's got a thing.
Mm-hmm. And
Yeah,
some
find your
people,
jam.
yeah, it could be doing braiding hair. Like, I had a cousin who braids hair, and she started braiding hair, makes $500 a day.
Killing it.
I mean,
Killing it.
and that's on a day where she just maybe want to do 2 or 3 heads, but it's
She's
just,
killing it.
I'm like, man, just imagine that. And she ain't
And
working every day. It's 3, 4
And
days.
that's what I say that stuff like it's all around you, not just money, because I don't want people focusing on money. It's not money. Money is just a tool, but the
Yeah.
abundance is all around you. So whatever desire, dream, and I'm not just saying this loosely, like I'm not telling you go light some candles, sit in the corner and go, Najee, Lord. No, you gotta get to work.
You
you
gotta
got
get to work.
you
Yeah.
gotta get to work.
Mhm.
But once you make that decision and you start going on that path, you got to keep going. um, so look, I know you have another call. I am not, I didn't want this to be too long. What I'll do is if anyone has any questions, if you're watching this and maybe we didn't touch on what you thought we should have touched on or whatever, leave some comments down below. I will also add links to a lot of the free apps that you can download completely for free.
Right.
And just want to let you know what this, there's nothing I'm not selling anything on this video. Okay. So there's no links, apps to the whatever. You don't have to cash at me, if you want to, cool. But that's not why I'm doing this. I'm doing this because I know that there was a point in my life when I just needed to see somebody that looked like me, that
Mhm.
wasn't selling anything, that could help me get out of wherever I was at. And I need to see other people. So I tell people that there's a tribe of people out there that want to see you win, and they don't want nothing from you.
I thank you
And
so much, because I tell you, you're verbal. I'm not. So just to watch you in action, like I say, to not only say it, but to do it, to show it, to go live.
it really works, right?
Mhm. And
It
one
really
of my
works.
favorite quotes is, "A life is not lived unless it's shared with others."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, it's big. So I do everything I do know. I'm sharing it with my inner circle, and I'll take your posts and I'll share some of those.
Yeah, because when we were talking earlier, you had told me that your closest friends, all of them own property now, right?
Everybody,
That's
every
see, like You're not a real estate agent. You ain't make nothing on the closings, right?
Nothing at all. I just started talking like, hey, you can get this, it's we can go all day, but
Yeah, yeah. But you
yeah,
want to, but that's how we should be. We should be helping each other, uplifting each other, pouring into each other. I don't
right,
want to be the only millionaire. I mean, and it's not about the money, but I don't want
right,
to be the only one that's financially free and living my life. And I'll be online making my little jokes and laughing, and my friends are hurting. They suffering. And I'm like, hey, I got these ways I can help you out. And they're like, oh, it's a scam. I'm like, okay, well, I'm just gonna keep doing my little scam dance over here, like
right. Let me tell
living
you,
my life.
I never met you in person. I've watched you on Facebook. We've had a phone conversation before today, so twice on the phone. Other than that, it was me watching, listening, and then applying what you gave.
So, and that's another space, and look, we're really gonna end this because I know you do have to go, but
Yeah.
that's another space that I'm in. I don't believe that God is telling me to drag people. You know what I mean? Like I don't feel that. I don't think God is saying, here's this person, make them do it. I really believe that God takes me through it, I experience it, and then I show you how to do it. Now, once you apply it and once you use it, and then you come back and say, hey, that really didn't work. Okay, now let's talk about it and figure out, let maybe tweak this stuff. Or you did something with it and you took it and went further than I did. And I'm like, oh, well, break that down for me. Let me, how were you able to take that? That's what I think God put me on for. I don't think God is commanding me to push people off the cliff.
Right.
I think God's telling me help them build it. Once you make the decision and you leap and jump, I think that's where a person like me steps in. Now, I think there may be someone else after that that gets you to another level. I'm just the help you jump, to help you after you jump person.
Listen, you do an awesome job, and I know we talked about some of the apps, but let me tell you about something else that you mentioned that I hadn't said anything about. The Be My Eyes. The Be My Eyes download
You
was,
downloaded that?
oh listen,
You used it?
yes.
Make you feel like a good human being, don't it?
I was just so overjoyed. So Be My Eyes is an app where you're able to help in court. And I never knew about it until Corey mentioned it. And I downloaded it on my phone. It's an opportunity for you to help individuals who can't see. So the blind, and correct me for whatever language I misused.
It's okay. No, it's okay.
But I got my first call probably about 4 months ago. Let me tell you, it was so rewarding. I was so excited, and it's worldwide, so they get those calls real quick. But when I was able to click on that and walk the man through, he was blind, but he was actually in his yard picking weeds up. And my opportunity was he had his phone going through his yard, and I was just telling him where the weeds was. You talking about a blind man who's in his
that
yard.
man blind, and you got two good eyes over there, and this blind man out here picking weed. I'm telling you, man, break you down to your knees, don't it?
Yes, and he went through his house. The man's house was super clean. You can eat off his floor, and I'm thinking to myself, how in the world? Listen, ain't no excuses out here. No excuses. I don't want to hear it.
That is a perfect way to close this out. That app is a completely free app. There's no money involved in that app. You just helping people, man. And I probably help like 4 people on that thing, man. And like you said, there have been times I've missed a phone call, and I kind of felt bad. But listen, them people be on it, man. They pick up them phone calls quick.
Right.
Yeah, I remember helping somebody. They were at a store, and they had already had their money separated, but they just didn't know. She didn't know if it was a 20 or a 10. And she's like, "Can you just look at this and tell me which one?" And she was already living on a fixed kind of income. So could you imagine? You already blind. You don't. You're already living on a limited thing. You don't know if you just gave this person a 20 or a $10 bill.
Right.
And I'm just sitting here like, man, what do I have to complain about? Nothing.
Listen, I was praising and thanking God, and I think I tried to reach out to you that day, but you were across the country somewhere. I tried to send you some kind of message, but it was a blessing. I thank the Lord. I tell you.
I thank you for being the service, man. Like I keep saying, this is what we're supposed to be doing with each other, especially how the world's moving, right? It ain't getting no better. So we need to have more avenues like this, more talks like this, more vehicles like this. And like I said, if there's any questions that anyone has, please leave them in the comment section down below. If you'd like to contact me, I'm not putting you out there, but if anybody wants to contact me or have any questions about anything, feel free to call me. You can ask me anything, within reason.
You
Don't be
really
too.
can, because I think that's how I end up linking up. I had a question about something, I reached out, and you actually, I was like, oh my God.
People be surprised. They're like, I didn't think he was gonna answer the phone. I'm like, it's my phone number. Why wouldn't I answer it? Yeah,
Real,
so listen,
real deal.
thank you for your time. Seriously, thank you for your time. Thank you for doing this. I pray that like whoever's watching this, that maybe it helps someone. I don't know if it will, but it costs us nothing to do it, right?
That's
So
right.
I pray that it helps someone. Is there anything that you want to say before we get out of here? I don't want to overtalk you.
Listen, I'll just echo what you always say: never give up.
Amen. All right. Well, all right, Russell Simmons. God bless you. Thank you and good night.
Hey.
All right, y'all. Well, listen, I'm going to close this by saying the same thing I always say. No matter what you've gone through, the darkest days, toughest times, no matter what you've been through, you're still here, right? So obviously, clearly, you have something meant for your life. And if you've never seen anybody go from absolutely nothing, completely zero, nada, sleeping on their mama couch to a 7-figure business, if you're watching any of my videos, you're seeing me do it every single day. Never give up. I will see you guys on the next video. Thank you, Ms. Glenn. I appreciate you, sister.
Thank you for having me. Have a good night.